All right. There we go. My bad. What's happening, everybody? K Mega 405 coming to you live from the 405, where I'm just your regular gamer. Talking to the intelligent gamers out there, man. Welcome. I know it's been a little bit since I did a My Thoughts video. And because of the fantastic news that we heard Friday night, which it was live during GRG, which was pretty cool towards the end of the show. Found out about the kind of rebirth of Killer Instinct after 5 years of not having any content. I wanted to talk about it a little bit earlier, but I was doing some things during the weekend and things like that. So, and then of course I wanted to see if I could pull some more information. If it's not been a lot of information other than the stuff that we found out so far, but want to put some theories out there, want to get people out there, want to, pick your brain, as I usually like to do when these type of things when I do these My Thoughts videos or streams or whatever. So anyway, if you are new to the channel, man, welcome. If you like the content, please be so kind to go and hit that subscribe button, the like button, notification bell, all that good stuff. Got always will be dropping content, not on a regular basis like some people do, but I do drop content weekly to that effect. So hope you guys will enjoy what I gotta say, and definitely want to see your feedback, not only in the comment section but also here when I'm talking about this. But all right, so the big news was at Evo last Friday night. It was basically the Iron Galaxy it was the first who came up there was the person that was in charge of like pretty much the fighting spectrum, or Killer Instinct, that was in charge of Killer Instinct, came out there on stage, was talking about how Killer Instinct has been out there and for 10 years has been pretty much a fighter that has been stable, that's been doing this thing for a long time. I mean, normally if you are a fighter fan, you understand that fighters normally don't, unless they're part of the big echelon fighters like Smash Brothers, Tekken, Street Fighter. You could probably put Guilty Gear up there now, but maybe not into the tier of the first three that I talked about. But Killer Instinct is very unique because usually fighters, they have a lifespan of anywhere from 3 months to maybe at the max 2 years. And then they kind of just go away with the dinosaur. I would also put like Marvel vs. Capcom in there, because Marvel vs. Capcom 3, only because of the mod situation. It's not only because of the mod situation, but that game just refused to die. And so there's people that still want a Marvel vs. Capcom. So that's real popular. That's a real popular franchise as well. But Killer Instinct, and where it's completely different, is because it is a game that was resurrected from the 90s into 2013, and from 2013 to 2023 the game still has a user base that's unreal. Like I said, that game should be looked at and regarded as something is one of the GOATs, just because it always has lobbies. There's never been a time that I played Killer Instinct through the last 10 years that I have not got to play against people or had really serious long time waiting times. Here, I would say earlier this year, maybe a little bit at the end of last year, because I always come back and I'll play Killer Instinct. It took a little bit longer, but still, it's not like, for instance, if you go and try to play Guilty Gear XR'd, it did. There's really not anybody playing it. And so like when you look at a game like DNF Duel, which I really like that game, but it's really hard to find anybody to play. Especially like I bought it for PC. Don't really know about how it is on PlayStation, but on PC it's kind of dead. So, until they come out with some new DLC, things like that. But that's the unique thing about Killer Instinct, right? So with that news that he came up, he was talking about basically that they were coming in to work on Killer Instinct, on Killer Instinct here in the fall. They're going to drop a like update 4K, rebalancing it, make sure that it get, has it's net code and everything is working right and proper. So that's really cool to think about. The one thing, too, that he said that I don't think a lot of people paid attention to, or maybe some people did, but the people that is always opposed to Xbox or anything that pertains to Xbox or anything like that, was him saying that they're going to be working on Killer Instinct from the next 10 years. That tells me right off the bat that Phil has kept another promise. Phil Spencer has kept another promise that Killer Instinct was not going to die. It was going to come back. So therefore, I could definitely see that them rebalancing this, bringing it back, trying to, test everything of what they want to test before they drop a new Killer Instinct. If you're going to work on a game for another 10 years, it's not just going to be up-res to 4K, Branson and add a couple of characters and then you just keep it pushing. They're going to work on another game. There's no doubt in my mind, no question. It is just what it is. And so there was people that tried to argue back and forth with me on social media, trying to say that, well, no, it's just them working on this game and they're just going to add a couple of this and that, and then that's it. They're going to move on. This is something that I don't think people really understand, is that if you're going to come out and listen, I don't know if dude got overhyped or whatever the case, he just kind of spilled the beans extra early or whatever the case may be, but you don't come out and tell a fighting fan base that you're going to work on a game for another 10 years. And then what's going on with you, Stanley? And then come to find out that it's just an update, and you're just up-resing the game. That's not just, if they're going to put in all the work, because they've already put in the work, it doesn't, it takes a little while for them to already get ready to do this stuff that's already going to drop in fall. So that's really good news. So they've been working on the game for a while. That has to be at least a year and a half, right? For them working on, touching up on things, for them to bring out Killer Instinct, in 4K and all those other things and by this fall, right? If they're going to continue to keep working on the game, which I don't have any doubt that they're going to add a couple of characters in there just to try to get people, back in so they could test the waters before they make another one. But if you're working for it that long, just think about the game development of a game. You're not, if you're going to just add extra characters, you would add another 2-3 seasons and then you're done in 3 to 4 years at the max. 10 years means that you're going to be going all in on a brand new title, on top of the fact of keeping this stable and then kind of transferring everything over to the Killer Instinct 2 or whatever that they're going to call the next Killer Instinct. 10 years is a very long time. We're talking about a decade. And the game might not be ready until the end of the generation or at the beginning of the new generation of whatever Xbox is going to be bringing out. So it's going to be, so again, that's going to tie people over to keep continuing to play Killer Instinct by adding a couple of things and then dropping the game. I don't know how far off or long or whatever it sounds like for me when he said another 10 years, that it seems to me that it's going to take a little while longer for them to, get started and do it. But anyway, again, it's a promise kept. Just like everything else that Phil Spencer has been pretty much said that he was going to do on trying to make things right by bringing Street Fighter. Of course, building up on this on the fighters that Xbox do have, which of course it's Killer Instinct. They have a couple of others. Don't know if they'll try to bring those other two back. But this is another thing that's pretty interesting to me about this, right? Because not only that, the fighting scene is just gotten back. It almost feels like it's almost to the 90s era of just you got some of the biggest fighting games all dropping around the same within a year's time. So because Tekken, as you see, this is Tekken 8. I was having a blast playing this game, man. I played it all weekend long. But Tekken 8 is going to drop sometime next year. Street Fighter just dropped. Mortal Kombat 1 is going to drop here in September. Then there's games like Grand Blue Rising that's going to drop. It's unfortunately not slated to be coming to Xbox. It's going to come to PC and to PlayStation. But that's another great fighter. Naruto Connections. I'm really hyped for that. That's supposed to be coming out I think in October. October or November, I believe it was at the end of October. So that's a day one buy for me. I can't wait to just play all that. It's connecting all the stories that they had from the old Naruto games that came out last gen, but the online aspect of it where they got this huge roster of fighters to play online. And one of the biggest problems with the old Naruto games is that the netcode just was garbage. So they're coming back and redoing that. I can't wait for that. Plus, on top of that, there's smaller indie fighters. They've expanded on Guilty Gear, which has got, Guilty Gear, the third season has come out. That game looked like to never come to Xbox. It's come to Xbox. SNK has now finally come. There was Samurai Showdown, but then to see King of the Fighters come, which is an SNK title. Then you look and you see Fatal Fury, that was at EVO. They typed there was, I think it's called something of the Wolf, City of the Wolf, something like that. It was something like that. But anyway, it's a Fatal Fury game, which is kind of tied into. It's kind of like an alternate universe to King of the Fighters. But Fatal Fury, just to see that, kind of continuance of the Mark of the Wolves, that's really dope, really dope. So again, something that the Xbox One generation seriously lacked, not only on top of just JRPGs, but fighters. This is a definite new, just amazing just to see. You see what I'm saying? So, but what does this all mean for Xbox going forward when it comes into the fighting scene? Well, of course, like I just said, I mentioned all these other fighters that most likely will, except for just one, or I should say two, because in Ninth Birth is going to have a new game dropping off as well. And unfortunately, that game doesn't look like it's going to be coming to Xbox. So if you compare to what fighters that came out last gen, which was quite a few, and that didn't land on Xbox, to now you're looking at all these fighters that's coming out, and this is looking like fighting games are making it a huge resurgence. Microsoft is only looking like this might be not getting two so far from what we've seen, compared to when PlayStation, PC, Nintendo would have been getting everything and Xbox was getting nothing but scraps. So it is a huge, massive difference going into this generation with Xbox compared to last gen. But within Xbox Studios, now I don't know if people remember, I mean, I've talked about this quite a few times. Now I was trying to look for this to try to show, and because I forgot the guy's name that they picked up when they were saying that they were starting a new game studio at Microsoft back in like 2020, 2021. And for people who's been following me, I've talked about it quite a few times, that they were getting ready to start a new division. It was a former employee from Midway that I guess he was going to be the new director of a fighting studio. So there comes all the rumors, of course, that got me really hyped about, Killer Instinct coming back. Then there was other rumors that came through from Maximilian and from other people that maybe that because there wasn't a studio that could work on Killer Instinct, that maybe that they would go outside, and they went to talk to Bandai Namco to find a studio. And then so here comes the rumors of Arc System Works maybe working on a new Killer Instinct, which I wouldn't have had a problem with it. The only thing to me is just that art style, which the game would have looked beautiful. But to me, I do like the traditional look of what 2013 Killer Instinct, and even if you go back to the old 90s Killer Instinct, that, they had that realism type of look to their characters, not that animated look. So what's going on with you, child of God? What's happening with you, bro? So that to me is one of those things to where of course I would have been elated and happy and played it regardless, right? But I still would have felt like, man, what if, if another realm or something like that. So to get back Iron Galaxy is not only massive, but I think for me, it put a sigh of relief that we know that the product is going to be even better than it's ever been. It's going to be completely solid, because there's no game out there like Killer Instinct. Like, there's no fighter that's out there that's like that game. You could try to look at other games that maybe people have played, or if you're casual and not really into fighting games or anything like that, you cannot find a fighter that's on the same caliber in the sense of like gameplay as Killer Instinct. There's nothing like it, nothing out there like it. So that's why I was looking at it like if Microsoft slash Xbox would skip over not bringing this game back, it would be a complete failure. In the sense of, because that's the one thing that people keep asking, that Xbox originality. And of course, bring in more JRPGs, bring in more single player experiences, bring in more, new IP, stuff like that, right? Killer Instinct is, even though it's not a new IP, it's still a unique IP. You said that '90s Killer Instinct was real special. No, it was special. But see, that's what made 2013 Killer Instinct even more special to me. Is because of the fact, and to a lot of people, because when you have an iconic fighting game like that, right? And you bring it, and shout out to Double Helix for, and for everybody that was involved to make that game work the way that it did. And just kind of revolutionized how a fighting game in a modern era is supposed to play and look and feel. Like it was incredible. Like, I mean, that was the thing that tied me over, because I was in debate if I wanted to get a PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5, or Xbox One, because of the price difference. Like, bills got to get paid. Like, I'm like, man, it's $100 more. I like to connect, but then of course the Snap feature. And then they showed Killer Instinct, and it was a no-brainer for me. I'm like, well, I'm just going to have to risk it all. So, and I've never been upset about my purchase or getting an Xbox One at all. But yeah, Killer Instinct is 2013 is special. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, it just needs, it just wouldn't make sense for them not to bring those type of that title back. And that's why I advocated it so much. That's why when I had the opportunity to ask Phil about it, I did twice, so it was like, and like I said, it feels good to see that Iron Galaxy is back. But one thing that I didn't know, and I said this on GRG and it was a mistake, because I thought that Iron Galaxy was, and shout out to Game Down Sites for pointing that out to me after the podcast Friday, was that I thought that Iron Galaxy was already bought out by Amazon or Google or whoever it was, but it was Double Helix. Iron Galaxy is independent. It's just that Adam Boyes, the former person that worked at PlayStation, is in charge of it now. And listen, when they tried to go and try to work to I guess start working on another Killer Instinct, Adam Boyes said that they were working on something else, which we now found out that was Rumbleverse. Okay, whatever, right? So what I'm saying, but listen, I don't want to dog out on the game. I don't want to dog out on Rumbleverse, but I think it's already about to be discontinued. So, but to me, it would have been it's a much bigger idea. Well, but again, it's their new IP. They want to take care of whatever they wanted to do. And now I get that. I understand that. You don't, you probably don't want to be hampered down, and especially when you got a new project. But comparing to look at the success of Killer Instinct 2013 compared to Rumbleverse, but you just don't know about these things, right? Like, I mean, you just don't know. So of course, but once I seen Rumbleverse, which I was excited to find out what Iron Galaxy was going to do, right? But once they dropped it, I was like, and I played it, it just wasn't the same. What's going on with you, Mr. Turner? What's happening with you, child of God? What's going on with you guys? Thank you for coming through. So again, I'm saying, let them work. It didn't work out for them, unfortunately. And so that just gave a bigger opportunity for them to come back into Xbox to sweeten the pot with them, or whatever the case may be. And so again, that goes into, I mean, Xbox is not done acquiring, and I know that some people are tired of hearing about the acquirement things or whatever. And maybe Iron Galaxy doesn't want to be, right? Like, and that's fine. To hear that they're still going to be working on the game for 10 years, that's already huge enough. So, but what if, let's just, and there's these theories, because I got more of them coming. What if, when Killer Instinct at the end of this year comes back, it's upgraded, and it just takes off again. And then let's just say that they've had a little special something to where they add a couple of more characters from Xbox portfolio, from their now grown studios, just to sweeten the pot a little bit to get people back on. Because once it's back up, there will be people that'll be back on it heavy. I mean, it's been maintaining for the last 10 years. I don't see it wouldn't go ahead and garner people to come back on, and just at least try it out to see what it looks like, how it plays, all that, right? But what if, like, it just takes off and then you look at it and see, well, okay, we're getting ready, and then they get ready for, I guess, for next E3 or whatever that they're going, or here in a couple of years that they'll announce the new Killer Instinct, and the buzz is just so great, and then it's doing great at Evo and everything like that, and then who's to say Xbox doesn't try to make that move? I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's two things left I feel that Xbox just needs, and that's more hack and slash games and fighters. That's it. They've touched on every other genre. That, like, they got puzzle games. They will be the king of shooters. They will be the king of Western RPGs. They will be dominant. They're dominant in the racing genre, in the racing space. What else is left except for those two things, in my opinion? Like, I mean, I don't know. People in the chat, you can let me know. But I mean, that's the only two things, and especially to want to keep building on the Game Pass brand, you have to touch on all facets. And fighting games, regardless of how some people feel about fighting games, or even about hack and slash games, it is still important to have those type of games in the portfolio to add to not only to the Xbox brand, but also add to Game Pass, and just that's those things are still that's still a big audience for that. Like, look, this last past Evo was considered one of the best Evos of all time. I mean, there were some really great matches, and upsets and then just all the game announcements. I mean, like, this fighter that's got a lot of people's attention called Project L. And then like hearing from what people that's been out there at Evo, which I'm going to have to go eventually, and just take it all in, just like I did with E3. But, like, there's just so much buzz for fighting games right now. And especially, I know that there's some people that's kind of upset with Street Fighter because of, like, it's really cool that they're adding the Ninja Turtles, but the pricing for each turtle is like $15 and each. And so, like, to me, that, of course, that's the gouging. That's things that still needs to be looked at just within gaming. Because, I mean, I was just listening to a video about somebody talking about NBA 2K and some of the things that they're doing. And, of course, their CEOs got a $40 million raise. And that money was just picked up on the VC that was paid in. That's nuts. They got a $40 million raise. And it's not because of the sales of 2K, it's because of the VC. So, of course, with fighting games, things like that, like, I mean, it's different. Like, of course, not all fighting games is equal, and it's not going to be on the same equivalent of an NBA 2K. But, they have to figure something out. I think that was the part of the demise of Dead or Alive 6, even though, regardless, there's people that still play Dead or Alive 6. I'll jump on Dead or Alive and I still can find matches. But what I think Dead or Alive would be another game that would definitely be that's still long lasting. There's a lot of people that enjoy Dead or Alive, but what hurt Dead or Alive 6 was the microtransactions. Like, what are y'all thinking with this? So hopefully when they do reboot Dead or Alive, which that is the rumors that they're coming back, but it's going to be rebooted, that they're going to make the proper changes instead of going for the money gouging that they have. Like, that's the one thing about fighters I just don't want to see. I think the way that Smash Brothers that came out was proper. I think if the bigger the character, special character that you want to bring in, if you want to charge Anywhere just for the character from the range. Like let's just say, like, for instance, let's bring it back to Killer Instinct. Let's say like a special character for Killer Instinct will be somebody from Nintendo, right? Just hypothetically, I'm not saying that that's going to be the case or something. But let's just say for that character that came from Nintendo or from somewhere from Bandai Namco or from Capcom or from anywhere. Let's just say that Geralt from The Witcher Geralt is going to be in a new Killer Instinct, right? And they charge $12 for that character. Yeah, some people have been saying that's pretty expensive, but I ain't tripping about that, right? But if you offer, like, let's just say, and that's something that, you know, I would love to take credit for it, but I got to give it to Fuzzy Belvedere because he's the one that brought it up to me, and I thought that was just brilliant. But let's just say that you would bring a character in, like, from Bleeding Edge, right? Or a couple of characters from Bleeding Edge, and those characters are like $4. See, that's the thing that I'm talking about, like the range from those characters. And if people don't buy the season pass, I think that those things are appropriate. But if you're trying to just put skins out and you're charging $15 a pop, I do not like that. I think that that's going way too far and beyond. And, you know, knowing me as being a Fire fan, I'm probably going to buy one of them. I'll probably buy my favorite turtle, which is Donatello. But that, for me complaining about it, I'm not solving the problem by not paying for it. But some things within the fighting space needs to get ironed out before they get too far of trying to pull money from their fan base, like NBA 2K does, or for like sports games, or for like Fortnite or something like that. They're not in the same. I hate to say it, but they're not in the same league. Like, you know, they're not as popular as a Fortnite or a Call of Duty or something like that. So to try to get as much out of it as possible right there and there, it's only going to alienate people from not wanting to get it. You see what I'm saying? So, but anyway, let me read a couple of these comments. It said, I see Child of God said, he said, Mega, and to your point, this is why Xbox won Sega, because Sega will complete the void for Xbox. No, you're right. Yeah. Michael Turner, is $15 per turtle skin. And like eventually, like, I don't think it's implemented yet, but they are going to start having to where you can fight your avatars, which that's going to be really dope, right? So you have this unique skin of the turtles or whatever. But I mean, like, if $15 a pop, like that's $60 for all 4 turtles. That's nuts. When the game was $60 itself, like, I don't understand. I get it. It's a business. They're out to make money, right? But it still doesn't. I'm not buying all 4 turtles. If they had like a package deal for 4 turtles for $20. I'm with that. I'll do that, but not 60. I'm not paying 60 for no, hell no. No, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I might risk it all and get one just because, just the collector's items. I mean, I really enjoy the turtles and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, one, that's all you're getting out of me, but you're not getting that much out of it. But anyway, back to my theory. So, my thoughts on this whole situation with the fighting, let's just put it in quotations, because like I said, it's been talked about back in like 2020, 2021 that they hired this former person that worked at Midway to be this director for this fighting studio, right? For this fighting game studio at Microsoft. Well, Xbox needs three fighters. They need at least 2 exclusive fighters. I would say 3, but if you get a strong marketing deal for the 3rd, then you're solid. Killer Instinct is already now marked down. All right. So it goes to the rumor about, now we go into this whole thing about, now why did this rumor come up in the first place that Microsoft went to Bandai Namco to try to get a Japanese studio to work on a fighting game. And the rumors were, of course, Arc System Works, there was Project Soul. And if you're not familiar with Project Soul, that's the studio that makes Soul Calibur, and they also worked on Smash Brothers. So Now it comes to the point of where this rumor has been circulating for the last couple of years about them trying to make a brawler, which a brawler is like Smash Brothers or Brawlhalla or like the multiverse that came from Warner Brothers. And I would be all for that. Those are not my favorite fighting games. Maybe because I'm not good at them. I mean, I enjoy Smash Brothers for what it is, but man, I get waxed. But I haven't never really put enough time into Smash Brothers. So if I put enough time into them, I could be probably decent. But no, I get waxed. But I do enjoy seeing the smash up of all the characters, the way that the game plays, things like that. There's a reason why it's considered one of the best fighters of all time. Like, the Smash Brothers Melee, Smash Brothers Ultimate, they're god tier fighters. They're some of the best selling fighters, if not the best selling fighter of all time. But if Xbox would want to go that direction, which I think that they should, I think that it would be something that would just, again, add to that portfolio of Xbox to complete the cycle, complete the whole thing. No stone unturned. You see what I'm saying? And go big. Hey, get Project Soul behind it. And since you're having all these strong relationships with studios, with these different publishers and studios within Japan, go after the man himself, Sakurai. And if you don't know who Sakurai is, he's the director of Smash Brothers. He has been the sole person who has made Smash Brothers what it is. Now, again, there's great developers in Nintendo who's worked on the game, but it's his direction that has made Smash Brothers what it is. And I did not know this. I did not know that he was independent. It's just a 2-person team with Sakurai and his wife. Like, and again, if you look at him, you type him up and look at who's the director of Smash Brothers. He looks like he's young as hell, but he's like in his mid 50s. So so him and his wife is in their 50s. So the man is like, yeah, I don't know, So it looks like it's, and so from my understanding about things is that Nintendo was trying to look for a replacement, right? To have somebody work on Smash Brothers. And this was blew my mind. It's like, I thought it took years for them to develop Ultimate Smash Brothers. It only took like a year and a half, 2 years, like no time at all. What was the holdup for everything is something, is basically like getting all the characters together. And so you might ask, like, well, why would it take those, why would, they're all Nintendo characters. So, why Nintendo? And this is something that Xbox is probably going to have to go through as well. If they are going to be making a brawler themselves, is that they got to get the blessings from people in order for them, regardless that they may own those rights to those characters, they still have to get the blessings from those people that worked on those characters. Like, for instance, they have, Sakurai has to go to Nintendo. I mean, has to go to, not Nintendo, but go to like the people who made Metroid, or the developers who's made, F-Zero, and get their blessing to work on that game. And those people, those developers in those studios will say, look, this is maybe what I want. This is how I want it, or whatever. And anyway, Sakurai is like god tier in Japan. I believe like he's one of the most trusted developers out there. So anyway, to flip this back onto what Microsoft should do, if Microsoft wants to do that, right? They don't have to, but if you want to make a game like that and get a lot of attention behind it, and Sakurai is not doing anything right now, I'm pretty sure he might be working on a couple of projects here and there. Hit him up. What would be bigger and better to sit there and you got Kojima to work on a game for Microsoft. Sorry, X-Man. So disrespectful. You got Kojima to be on the team to work on a game Sega and Xbox is in a, is it seems like they're more tight knit than ever. That's why the rumors are there about like Xbox trying to acquire Sega. And I agree with you, Thomas, that like, look, that's Sega would definitely complete the mold, because not only that, you got oh man, this thing went all the way through, went crazy. Oh man, let's sit there and fix that. But let me see. Let me fix it right there. Okay. But the one thing that you can, but why not make another splash? You know what I'm saying? See if Sakurai is available. Try to bring him on to work on getting. Of course, you're going to get blessings on that, and of course, like it might be different, with the Xbox, because they might have people from what I've heard, like Epic Games, like they got a whole bunch of people that just calls out people. They got like a whole division that just calls out and put games on. They put these special characters on Fortnite, right? So it might be the same thing with Microsoft. So maybe they have a lot. They don't really need Sakurai to do that. But if you want to really make a crazy brawler from Microsoft, and of course you have all these IPs, right? And so they probably wouldn't need Sakurai for that. But if you want to go outside of that, let's just say that you want to get a Street Fighter character, you want to get a Tekken character, you want to get a Guilty Gear character or something like that. You're going to need somebody that's well equipped, that is well respected, I should say, that can do that without any question. And if he directs and helps make that game, then of course, have it happen. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, it's a theory, it's pie in the sky. But I think that if the brawler situation is true, go all out. Go all out. Go all out. And nobody knows how long it will be before another Smash Brothers will come out. Because Nintendo hasn't found a replacement. And Sakurai is like, look, I don't trust anybody. Pretty much what he said was like, he don't trust anybody that's there at Nintendo right now to take over the reins of making another Smash Brothers. And so if he's available, why not? Why not do it? Why not do it? Why not do it? If you're going to do that, then go all out. And of course, as much as I love Killer Instinct, the reality is that if you have a successful brawler that's on the wavelength of a Smash Brothers, it might not be on the same tier, on the same God tier level, but that game will be more successful than Killer Instinct, and that will be one of your other flagship titles that you can add to the portfolio. Then it can be one of those things where if those people that want to talk about organic growth, that's an organic growth type of title right there. Period. Because you went out and you built a game that, Nintendo has, I'm not Nintendo, but PlayStation did their All-Stars game. It wasn't very successful, but it seems like it's the right time for Xbox to make that type of push. And then like for the third title, I would say if you don't want to use any of the games that you have, like for the 3D fighters, they got 2 3D fighters. What was it? Tango Fang, I think one of them, and then the other one, I can't ever pronounce that game. I like the other game better than Tango, than I think it's the Tango Fang or Fang Tango, so whatever that it is. I don't know. I had them both on the original OG Xbox and 360. But I don't have them anymore. I need to buy them again since I got my 360 back. But I think I'll do that. I need to go get my original Xbox too, though. So anyway, I don't know if those games would work now. I would love to see them. I think that for a third game, you would want to do a marketing deal. I think that for that, like what you would want to do is get Dead or Alive as a marketing ploy, or Virtual Fighter. You would definitely have to fight PlayStation for those marketing rights, especially when you had Virtual Fighter Showdown that's exclusive I've heard, you heard rumors that it's a timed exclusive, but with these days of how things has been moving and shaking, you just don't know. And it's still not on Xbox yet. So it could be 2-year exclusivity, or it could be permanent. We don't know, because they're from what Sega said is that Ultimate Showdown, Virtual Fighter Ultimate Showdown is been very, very successful for them. They're on PlayStation. So that's the other solution. If not, again, talk about acquirement, right? And so for me, like, everybody talks about Sega, which I would love to see Sega. It just makes more sense than anything. Like, that's the last big one, big set piece to add to Xbox, and to just, now everything is set in motion, go. But I think people don't put in, I definitely look at Koei Tecmo, man. I look at Koei Tecmo because of the fact of, Dead or Alive. And then you also have, Ninja Gaiden, and then just all of that. And Dead or Alive, I know that there might be some people that will disagree with me on that, but Dead or Alive seems like the perfect Xbox type of game. It seemed like, even though like Dead or Alive has been out forever, well longer before the Xbox ever came out, right? But it seemed like when it garnered its biggest popularity is when it was a launch title, when it was launching for the 360, when it was on the old OG Xbox. Like, that's when it seemed like it was hitting it all strides. With Dead or Alive Ultimate 1 and 2. So I don't know. We'll see. I think that's one of those things that could happen. Again, it's just my thoughts on it. I'm really excited about Killer Instinct back. And I definitely will be playing it. You know what I'm saying? We'll get some run. Sorry about Fight Night Sunday. My mom called me right in the beginning of starting Fight Night Sunday, and then she just wanted to talk. So we'll be getting ready to do that again next week. This week, this Sunday. And so it'll be Killer Instinct, and it'll be Street Fighter 6. So that's what I'll be doing. But yeah, I didn't want to go too long on this one. I just wanted to just kind of discuss kind of like my thoughts, talk about how happy I am about the fighters. I do have one last thing I do want to talk about, and that is about just the fighting scene overall, and how I feel that it is a critical time for fighters, on top of the fact that it's that if fighters, to me, doesn't gravitate, especially with all these great fighters that's out that's coming out right now, that's going to be coming out here in the next, I say 3 years straight. Like, there's a lot of really dope fighters, from small indie titles to big projects that's going to be dropping in the next 3 years. If fighting games don't catch back on, then I don't think that it'll ever get back to the way it was. But I feel right now with how Mortal Kombat is getting received, Street Fighter is being received very, very well. Tekken's going to get received very, very well. It's the other titles that's in between that's going to help booster this, and we could see a new level. And if you got another Power Stone that's coming, another Marvel vs. Capcom that's going to be coming. Then, of course, I don't know how many people caught that, but during EVO, they brought up and start talking about Tekken cross Street Fighter. Well, they Harada cut him off before he could talk about it. But to see them two back together after years of, it's just not done. It's just like that. That's telling me that I think that the gaming industry and fighting is starting to now loosen up, and they're ready to start bringing these titles back. Especially, we could be back at the golden era of fighting like it was in the 90s. Because of course with Mortal Kombat, that looks absolutely phenomenal. Street Fighter is going to be cooking for the next couple of years, for the next 5 years. Guilty Gear Strive is going to keep going on. I'm hoping DNF Duel it's going to be coming to the Switch this year. Hopefully they'll get an Xbox release coming within the year. And then just like Project L, and then all the rest of these fighters, you got Corrupted and all these other fighters, like I said, big and small, getting ready to drop. We could get back to that. But it's just up to the gamer. It's up to the gamer to see if they are interested in getting back into fighting like they once did, probably in that sense. And then of course, if you know the rumor about Dead or Alive coming back, like it is a golden era right now, and I couldn't be more happy about it. But it's again, if it doesn't take off, ugh, you know what I'm saying? Then this could be probably the end of what we know, and we probably just will have maybe 2 or 3 fighters, 4 fighters, major fighters that people will talk about, and then all the rest will just kind of be indie titles, you know, or just games that will just stay on one platform and won't just get mixed around. So I don't know. I you know what I'm saying? I'm really hoping that fighting gets back to its golden age. It feels like it. It seems like it. Games are playing better than they ever been. And then, of course, I didn't even mention, you know, that Sega was talking about working on a virtual fighter. That was something that I heard last week as well. So, look, man, I think we're here. And so I'm looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. You know what I'm saying? I know normally when we're talking about other stuff, and I'll do a My Thoughts video talking about some of the hoopla and everything that's been going on with, you know, some people trying to downplay Starfield already and all this other stuff. This is stuff that I've already told you guys what was going to happen. So, but I'll talk about that most likely probably tomorrow. But I wanted to get my fighting feel out. You know, I didn't want to just talk about one of my favorite genres, if not my favorite genre in gaming, and then not give it its due, and then, you know, start jumping on to something else. So I just wanted to give a little bit of love to the fighters. Can't be more, like I said, I'm so excited about Killer Instinct coming back. So I just wanted to touch on that. It was really short My Thoughts video. So yeah, man, I just wanted to let you guys hear my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think in the comments, man. I definitely, you know, if you think that I'm crazy, I'm out my mind. You know I say some of these off the wall things, and some of them stick. So we'll see. I mean, I would definitely like to see if the brawler thing is true. Project L, Sakurai. Let's get it. Let's do it, Microsoft. Let's see if y'all can do that. Let's see if y'all can pull that off, or if not, just you know, a really solid brawler with all of these characters. I mean, just think about Doom Guy going against, you know, Master Chief, or, you know, you look at Soap from Call of Duty going against, you know, Marcus Phoenix or some crazy shit. Like, it is just all different types of just wild, insane Banjo-Kazooie going against Ori. Now, I don't know if, now see, that would be kind of weird. Now, I don't know if Ori is that an owned Xbox property? I know that they don't own the studio. I know that they don't deal with Moon Studios because of that stuff that's going on. I don't know if they mend that relationship, but I know that they were you know, that was some crazy stuff that was going on in Moon Studios. And they rejected to help fund the new game that Moon Studios was working on, and so they had to find another publisher. So, oh my goodness, Hard Days, Mike, listen to you. I'm doing well, brother, man. Appreciate it. Yes, the fraud is back. So yeah, yeah, no, there's just so many possibilities with a brawler, but I still feel that they need one more title if they really do have this fighting studio. 3 is perfect. They don't need to have 5, 6, something like that. 3 is perfect. And of course, yeah, going after Sega and for what they have over there, or like I said, Koei Tecmo, those were perfect. And then you'd be solid. And like I said, you don't even have to acquire them. You know, just get the marketing rights for, if they are making it, which I do feel that they are making a new virtual fighter. Fight tooth and nail to get those marketing rights. And in a new Dead or Alive, fight to get those. If you got 2 solid fighters with Killer Instinct and then this brawler, and then you got a third, which is Dead or Alive, or even 4 and virtual fighter or something of that nature, you're golden. You're golden. So, all right, that's all there is for today. I will be back tomorrow, and I'll do my thoughts talking about the other crazy stuff that's going on. That's the stuff that people like to talk about. Let's get messy tomorrow. So, yeah, everybody have a good one. I will see you guys. Hold on, let me see what Sapo said. I think KI is ready for a big league, for the big leagues by going multi-plat to gain a faster adoption for the fighting community. Now, see, I've been back and forth on that about Killer Instinct. At first, I was like, nah, and then the other part of it was like, if you made it multi-plat, put it on PlayStation, Nintendo, yeah, that would be great. But this is my thing, right? PlayStation doesn't have a fighting studio. And they do their things like they've always been doing it. They just they as I say swap meet lease these games to make sure that they stay on that platform exclusively. I feel that Xbox needs at least one exclusive title to get on board. Killer Instinct is done well without having to be on PlayStation or Nintendo. So I feel like Killer Instinct can do just as well being exclusive on Xbox and PC, and especially if they want to try to get it to being mobile. Get them, added to mobile. The rumor about the brawler, that is definitely going to be it has to be an exclusive. You wouldn't want that brawler to be out there and to be a multi-plat. But but I mean, if they decide that, but they have to have at least one. That's the thing. Like, what I'm saying? Like that's that. So I understand that because I see that. But it's funny to me because, as much as there's PlayStation fans that always talk shit about Xbox, there are those titles that PlayStation fans would love to have, and Killer Instinct is one of them. They would love to have that game to be on PlayStation. Don't get it twisted. That's why they'll say what they say. What I'm saying? But you're saying, but Square Enix operating profit down 79%. The blood is in the water. What I'm saying? Okay, you're talking amongst yourselves. He said in the brawler, Sir X-Man said in the brawler, they can have you fight with fight. Well, yes, yeah. Like, no, there's just too many. It makes too much sense to not have a brawler. Like, there's too many good studios. There's too many great IPs to not have those games. And it could revitalize some older games, especially how popular the characters are. Like, I mean, if they really get down and kick ass in the brawler, then they'll, like for instance, there's like tons of them rushing through my mind right now, but I'm trying to think of just a real odd one. Okay, like for instance, like from I don't know, I forgot what the character's name that was played by Jack Black from that rock and roll game. I don't know why I can't think of the game's name right now. Old age. But if you brought him in there as a character, like that could garner, people would love that, beating the hell out of somebody with a guitar, and you had special moves and doing all types of crazy stuff. And then like there would be people like, oh man, I would love to see that game come back or something of that nature, or cameo, something like there's so much opportunity for them to put the brawler out and to get people to enjoy those characters being played and have them play on those heartstrings of wanting to see a lot of those old titles come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it just makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, I would definitely do that. Oh man, yes, the character from Rise, Joanna Dark would definitely be, oh my goodness, yeah, the character from Rise. Well, see, that's the thing. They can't have the character from Sunset Overdrive because PlayStation owns them now. So, I don't see PlayStation giving any bone to Microsoft, even though that game, Sunset Overdrive was an Xbox exclusive. So that any character from Sunset Overdrive, I don't see that at all. But that's when you go into, like, you could talk to Remedy and bring maybe bring a popular character from Quantum Break or from Control or from, so anything that's from Remedy, something like that. Like I said, like I was bringing up, like, something, a character from The Witcher or something like that. Like you can go out and go and talk to bringing guest characters in with the characters that they would already implement, which would be really dope and just makes a lot of sense to do the brawler. It just makes a lot of sense. But I just don't see the reasoning for the brawler or Killer Instinct when Killer Instinct is still viable to this day to go on other platforms. If they did it, would I be mad about it? No. At first I was talking about I would be pretty pissed off about it. But then, I kind of looked at it for the overall growth of Killer Instinct. I wouldn't be opposed of it. Because I know where I'm going to be playing it. I'm going to be playing it on my Xbox and on my PC. But like I said, lastly, Xbox has to have an exclusive fighting game. It's just like with Smash Brothers. That's an exclusive fighting game. You don't get that anywhere else, and that draws attention to the Xbox platform, regardless of of it being. If they buy an Xbox or if they buy a Samsung television or if they just, partake into Game Pass, it's still exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem in one way, shape or form. So you don't want to break that by doing that. But I do agree that, Killer Instinct definitely has an opportunity to make it into the big leagues and be a part of the big echelon, and I would say the big four, which is Smash Brothers, Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat. Those are the big four. Killer Instinct could definitely be a top 5. And I know that there will be people that will say, well, Guilty Gear Strive is a big game too, but it's not close compared to the big four. Like, I think Killer Instinct could get that opportunity because of it's being so unique, can go ahead and be a fighter that could be in to get to that 5th spot. And I mean, of course, Virtual Fighter as well, but Virtual Fighter has been gone for so long. How long will it take before people will, it's been gone for most gamers, except for PlayStation gamers who's been playing the game on their Showdown, but Xbox gamers, Nintendo gamers, and I believe PC game, because I don't have it on PC, so I would have had it on PC. So that they're just alienating a lot of players by just keeping it exclusive on PlayStation. So it is what it is. So we'll see how Virtual Fighter, because Virtual Fighter is another big title, but it's been gone for so long. Will people gravitate to it, especially when Tekken has got its new look, new style? Tekken 8 is going to be something special. Mortal Kombat looks like it's something special. Street Fighter 6 is something special. So I don't know. We'll see. Then now y'all coming up with the names and stuff now. You said did your Killer Instinct being a couple of different bad guys from Halo? Yeah, like there's just so many possibilities for both titles, for the Brawler and for Killer Instinct to just have so many cool characters. And have different, and then also add guest characters. That would be the ultimate thing to try to work with NetherRealm to bring a Mortal Kombat character in on Killer Instinct, on Killer Instinct 2. That's the selling point right there. And then that brings in more buzz about what people have been asking for in the fighting space is a Killer Instinct versus Mortal Kombat. That's just perfect. You see what I'm saying? Just like gamers are asking for Marvel vs. Capcom, and gamers are, now the talking chatter is talking about Tekken cross Street Fighter again because of what happened in Evo. So it's a lot of things. Like I said, the golden age of fighters seems like to be coming back. I just hope that it just resonates with a bunch of people, with a bunch of casual gamers who hasn't played fighting games in a long time. Street Fighter kind of brought that vibe back. There's a lot of people that's hit me up and said, man, I ain't played Street Fighter since Street Fighter 2, and I bought Street Fighter 6. So, we can run sometime, and that's beautiful. That's the stuff you want to see. But it wouldn't happen unless Xbox start bringing more of these other fighters in. So I feel that they brought the cross tag battle. Matter of fact, I need to run some gameplay of that as well. We need to get Grand Blue Fantasy Versus and Rise Rising to Xbox. the in Nightbirth games need to come out. Like they're in the same genre as a Melty Blood, very very small niche titles, but they're really good quality fighters. Like Xbox still is done magnificent, absolutely magnificent, but they still need to get a couple more to get it. Like I said, like DNF Duel. And I understand that it's not all about just Xbox. Xbox is doing what they've been doing. Like they're trying their asses off to bring as much as it's money, studios, what can they do, the assets, things like that. There's so many other things that's involved. Marketing deals, all that. So, but yeah, a DNF Duel, in Nightbirth, if that doesn't come, that's disappointing from my end. But, and also like, Blaze Blue needs to come back. Like I know that there's Blaze Blue cross tag battle, which I'm just super elated about that. I'm so excited. Matter of fact, I'm finna get ready to buy that here at the end of the month. I seen a good deal on it, so I'm finna go ahead and going to pick it up at the end of the month. Guilty Gear Strive, that's a plus. You know what I'm saying? Any fighter, like I just bought Gigla Bash. I bought it on PC. Played a little bit of it. It's really fun. It's really fun. But most of my time will most likely be on Xbox, playing with my people. But I got it on PC too if anybody wants to play Giga Bash, which that's a really cool game to see come to Xbox, because that's something that would not come last generation. And if you haven't heard of Giga Bash, it is it's a Kanju fighting game. Like we're talking about Godzilla and Mega Godzilla and like all those Kanju characters, Mothra and all them. Like you're just going around just tearing up the city and you're fighting each other. Yeah, like I'm really cool. I just picked that up before I started the stream. So yeah, if you haven't heard of that, go pick that up if you're into fighting or just into Kanju stuff. Like that's the stuff that's going to get people get more attention, is if you go ahead and you support them. Like, of course, like, not everything could be in Game Pass. Like that would be great if that game could get dropped on Game Pass, and maybe hopefully eventually it will. But, when I see games like that's dropping, I'm going to cop them. Like, I'm saying? It's just something for me that I have to, it's just for me as a fighting fan, I have to show support. And as much as I do content talking about fighters and what Xbox needs to do, it just doesn't seem right for me to talk about it and not buy them. You see what I'm saying? Or not support them in the way that I feel that I should. So anyway, yeah, but it's big kudos for Xbox getting the Iron Galaxy back. That is a huge win, huge win. But anyway, guys, I'll start repeating myself if I get back started again. So let me go ahead and get out of here. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about it here on GRG Friday. Tomorrow I will be doing another My Thoughts, like basically talking about the messy stuff. So get ready for that. Hopefully you guys will come and check that out. But yeah, I just wanted to show my love to my fighters. And yeah, I don't know. I just let the gameplay. This was gameplay I was recording when I was playing Street Fighter 6. When I was testing it, when I was testing it out on PC. So I don't know if I was doing good, I was doing bad or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? I love me some Kimberly. I haven't, since I bought the game, I haven't played with Kimberly yet. I've been, you know what I'm saying? So I'm finna get back, start messing with her, you know what I'm saying? Because she is one of my favorite characters on Street Fighter 6. So, all right, guys, have a good one, man. Thank you for coming through. Peace. Oh, you said what's the name of the game? It's called Giga Bash. Gigabash. Giga Bash. Yeah, it just came out this week. Just dropped this week, and I picked it up, like I said, just maybe 15 minutes before I started the stream. So that's why I was kind of late. So because I was over here downloading it. So all right, guys, peace.